Hey guys, what's going on? It's David and Kyle here. We got a guest speaker, Ryan, come in and collaborate with us over the weekend. Ryan Stewart runs your own agency, right?
Yep.
Webris?
Webris.
Yeah, and we were just collaborating on a couple different clients. We learned a lot of things that we thought were really valuable for our business. We wanted to pass that on to you guys. First thing we wanted to talk about was kind of your view on link building, which was kind of different than what's traditionally taught out there.
Yeah.
So if you can kinda,
I think one of the reasons why Ryan came up here in the first place is because he does have a little bit of a different approach compared to most SEO people on the scene today.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so I, much like a lot of other SEOs when I first got started, I was into the gray hat, black hat, really black hat when I first got started. Moved into the gray hat PBN thing. And about a year ago, I kind of started getting out of it because I was just seeing the signs of just diminishing returns more than anything. And I really started looking at ways to get outside of that. And one of the things that I started doing was a lot of guest posting and doing a lot of guest posting for my own personal brand and seeing the results that I was getting. Not only in terms of the link equity, but the traffic, the brand exposure, all these things really led me down a different path. And that led me into a lot of other tactics like broken link building, resource page link building, a ton of other different tactics, a lot of stuff that we talked about today that are just tremendously valuable. And once you kind of get out of that mindset and break that mindset and set up yourself and your agency to do things differently, the results that you get are dramatic. And not only is it better for your business, but it's better for your clients. It's better for the health of their sites, and it's just something that kind of is better from how do I put it? I don't know, integrity point of view, I guess.
Like an ethical standpoint too, especially.
For sure.
Yeah.
And something you showed us today that kind of goes back to some of the other videos we made is the process you put in place for the white hat link building is very scalable.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of things in the gray hat world, you can scale it to a certain point, but it's going to hit you eventually.
Yeah. So I mean, and we talked about it earlier, but everybody knows how to guest post. Everybody knows how to find a resource page, but not like the biggest argument against white hat SEO is the lack of scalability. And it's really not that it's not scalable; it's the lack of a process.
Yeah.
Right.
And you've cracked that code. Like we've seen what you've done with it, and it's really good.
For sure. Yeah, I spent a lot of time really figuring it out for myself, and honestly to prove it to myself that it could be done first, and to do it for my own agency. And then I started rolling it out to my clients, and really structuring your team for it is huge. Like even repurposing the people that you have, using freelancers more effectively.
Right.
And communication, is huge. But once you have that process down, it's not only again more effective than PBNs, but it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's just infinitely more ethical.
So when you're running your business and you're looking back in the last 5 or 6 years of what you've learned, what are some like the teachable moments or the mistakes that you've really learned from?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, my biggest mistake, honestly, two things really. Number one, how I spend my time. I tend to be a tinkerer. I wish that looking back on things, I wish that I would do a better job of time management. I don't have a problem working long hours, but I do have a problem with like getting on Facebook and answering too many Facebook messages, answering too many threads, stuff like that.
Right.
Honestly, the process that I've set up recently in terms of prioritizing even myself, like I do it for my team, but I realize I have to do it for myself too. Like I need to do a better job of that, and I wish in the past I would have done a better job of that. I never looked at productivity as kind of like a skill set, but it absolutely is.
Yeah,
I think it's something that's not talked about enough actually. Just kind of learning my flaws and understanding how I delegate tasks and what I expect out of my team is a huge learning process for me. That's something I'm getting better at, just like working quote unquote smarter, and just kind of.
You seem to be specializing more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like as your business grows, you need to understand that you can't be doing certain things anymore. There's certain things that need your attention that cannot be delegated to other people, while other things need to be delegated. I have a problem not delegating the things I should, just for stupid reasons, and it ends up, I don't have, like I said, I don't have a problem working an 18-hour day, but I end up working an 18-hour day because it's taking me 18 hours to finish things it should take me 10 hours.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I've said it before, I love what I do, so it's not really a problem. But the other thing, honestly, is this isn't my first crack at starting a business. The first two that I started were don't want to say failures because you know, we made some money, which was cool, but you know, it sounds so cliche, and I hate saying it, but the lessons that I learned from the mistakes that I made. I mean, the people that I partnered with, just being young and being immature and not fully understanding like the full cycle of business.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say that I regret what I did, but you know, I partnered with some really bad people that took advantage of situations, and you know, I did too. I don't want to blame it all on them. It was just a toxic relationship. I'm sure you guys have probably had them in the past, but you know, the greatest skill set is being able to learn from those. You know, again, I hate like talking in cliches, but you know, really being able to understand your mistakes, where you went wrong, and then adjust so it doesn't happen again, because it's going to happen again for sure. Yeah. You know, history will repeat itself over and over if you let it. So, you know, understanding my working style and who I can partner with in the future is a humongously valuable thing that I learned, even though I lost money, lost a lot of time. But, you know, I for sure would not be where I am today if I didn't make those mistakes and really, truly understand where I went wrong and learn from them. So, yeah, those are probably the two biggest things that I would say to that for sure.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Thanks for your time. That's gonna be it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, just send them our way, and we'll get back to you. See ya.